Richard Wright was born Richard Nathaniel Wright on September 4th, 1908, in Roxy, Mississippi. He was the grandson of slaves and the son of a sharecropper. Wright was largely raised by his mother, a caring woman who became a single parent after her husband left the family when Wright was 5 years old. Schooled in Jackson, Mississippi, Wright only managed to get a ninth grade education, but he was a voracious reader and it showed early on he had a gift with words. When he was 16, a short story of his was published in a Southern African-American newspaper. After leaving school, Wright worked a series of odd jobs. In his free time, he delved into American literature, going so far as to forge a note so he could secure a library card. The more he read about the world, the more he longed to see it and make a permanent break from the Jim Crow South. Quote, "I want my life to count for something," he told a friend. In 1927, Wright finally left the South and moved to Chicago, where he worked as a post office and also swept streets. But like so many Americans struggling through the Depression, bouts of poverty settled into his life. Wright's frustration with American capitalism led him to join the Communist Party in 1932. When he could, Wright continued to plow through books and write. He eventually joined the Federal Writers Project, and in 1937, with dreams of making it as a writer, he moved to New York, where he was told he stood a better chance of getting published.
Like millions of young African Americans, Richard Wright migrated to Chicago, hoping for work and a better life. Wright came from Mississippi with just 7 years of education. Still, he landed a post office job and managed to support his mother and younger brother in a tiny apartment. Then suddenly, he lost his job.
Some folks in the world love our prayer to prayer. Oh, Lord, you will now go and leave your home.
One morning, my mother told me there was no food for breakfast. I knew that the city had opened relief stations, so I put on my hat and coat and went out. I rode in zero weather for miles in open trucks, then spaded the frozen earth for 8 hours, only to ride home again in the dark. A strange emotional peace had come to me. I knew that my life was cast with the men with whom I worked. Slow, plodding, inarticulate men. Workers all.
He had come expecting things to be better. And just a few years after he gets there in 27, the Depression hits. So that's a slap in the face for somebody who has thinking that I've now escaped the South, I've escaped the racist terror of the South, I'm now going north, life will be much better. And in fact, it gets much worse.